Hello everyone, welcome back to a quick video from Fall River Shooters here, helping a customer that needs help with sighting in their thermal. And so they went to sight it in, and they said the more they tried to sight it in, the further away it was getting. And so we're going to explain some good things to do when you're sighting in your thermal to help make sure that you're not wasting ammo and getting further away and getting frustrated. And so we're going to start off here. Let's say this is our point of aim. This is where we want to hit. Maybe this is a hot hand that we put out there. Maybe it's a piece of tinfoil tape. But this is the point that we're aiming our crosshairs at. Okay. And most of the time when you get a thermal, it's going to be set to X equals 0 and Y equals 0. And the first thing you'll want to do, make sure that your thermal is attached appropriately. So adjust that, if it comes with a quick detach mount, adjust that nut on there to make sure that when you close that mount, it's nice and firm, to where right at the very end of the lever, it gets hard to close. And if it just has two nuts on there that you need to tighten, make sure they're, torqued to the correct specs. They're both on there tight. And once you got that, you're ready to go. So let's say we come out here, we aim at the target. And usually if you have just like a 2 foot by 2 foot target, I like to take the first shot at 25 yards. And if you have a 4 by 4 target, you may start at 50 yards. And once you confirm that you're close, then you can move it out to 100 and then even 200 if you're shooting a fast shooting caliber. And you're going to be taking long shots. I like to sight mine in at 200 yards, but a lot of people sight them in at 100 yards, and that's fine too. So let's say we're aiming for this, and let's say we hit up here. What you should do is just get a piece of paper just like this and make the same drawing, and it's going to help you so much. So let's say we hit high and right, and so we hit right here, and just make sure you do and then just draw here, hey, X equals 0, Y equals 0, and this is exactly where we hit. And so as we move and shoot again, we'll make another one and another one, and that way we can we won't be chasing our tail, putting in different if it feels like we're getting further away, we adjust it a different way, and all of a sudden we're over here, it's going to help keep us from getting really confused. So we shot, and we're here, and we hit right here. So the correct way to do it is aim your crosshairs at the original aiming spot. We're going to call this the point of aim. Okay, so that's what that is. And then this right here is called your point of impact. Okay, and so that was our point of impact. And so we are going to aim at our point of aim here. And if your scope has a freeze frame, go ahead and freeze frame it while you're pointed perfectly in the middle here. And if you can't see where you hit, let's say you're using a hot hand for this, go put a second hot hand down right here. So and just tape it to it, but that way you know right where your point of aim is. And once you freeze frame it, you'll go ahead and move your crosshairs. You move them up, and then you'll move them right, and adjust it to where it's pointed right at your point of aim. So you're holding your scope at the exact same spot it was when you originally shot, but you're moving your crosshairs up so they're pointed right where you hit. And that's the whole goal, is to have your point of impact hitting right where your crosshairs are pointing, right? And so you'll do that, and then make sure you save it. Sometimes it doesn't save. I like to save it and then go back into the settings and just confirm that it did save it. So let's say we move it up and we move it over, and let's say that it is turns out to be X equals, we'll say X equals 10 and Y equals -15. Okay, and so we go ahead and we go shoot again, and let's say we hit down here. We hit a lot closer, but maybe we adjusted it too low. And so we get X equals 10, Y equals -15. Okay, so from here, we can know, hey, we moved our X over 10, and man, we got really close. It still needs to go a little bit further. And so even without coming back, and moving this one, and we could just pull the hot hand off that we taped here and put it right here, if that works, and then we can go and do the same adjustment again. But even just from looking at our little diagram here, we'll know, hey, we need to come over maybe 2 or 3 more to where x equals, 12 or x equals 13. We adjusted y down too much to where now, y minus 15 is too much. So we might try y equals negative 12 or negative 13. Okay, and so we adjust it over, we adjust it down, and hopefully our last shot, we actually impact right here, and we end up with x equals, let's call it x equals 12, and y equals negative 13. And what you'll do is you want to screenshot that and send it to your email, and make sure that you save that going forward. That way, if it's ever, if all of a sudden you're missing, you can go in there, make sure you didn't change the profiles, make sure that it's still set to your original settings. If you use different ammo, or after you shoot the gun a while, your point of impact moves slightly and you need to adjust, then screenshot the new X and Y and save it again. Now, let's go through an example of when you go to do it and it's going the wrong way. So once again, here is our target, our point of aim. Okay, and same thing. Let's do, we'll do it down here, just give it. So our first shot's down here, x equals 0, y equals 0. Okay, and wherever we hit, this is called the point of impact, right? So here's our first point of impact. And what happens most commonly, and I've even done it, this year, so it can happen to everyone. Instead of aiming here and moving your crosshairs, adjusting it until it gets over to here, sometimes we're in a rush, we do things backwards. And so we'll aim it here, and then we adjust up and over to here. And so let's say we did that in this case. And then we go and we shoot again, and all of a sudden we're hitting over here. Let me move my paper. And all of a sudden we hit right here, okay? And so this equals, let's say this is x equals negative 13, y equals 15. Okay, and so let's say we adjusted and all of a sudden we're hitting here. What we know from here is we adjusted these exactly the wrong way because we are now further from the target. And if you catch this correctly, you can fix it in one shot. And so you'll know, oh, this is exactly the wrong way. And so you'll take it back to x equals 0, y equals 0. And then you can actually just go the other way and know, hey, we're going to change it to x equals 13 and y equals negative 15. And that will make it come back up to the correct spot here, right? Because we know that it brought us down here the opposite way that we needed to go. And so we can correct that, and maybe the next shot we take hits right here, and that is x equals 13, y equals negative 15. And then we can adjust, hey, we're pretty good on the horizontal here, and so we don't need to adjust the y anymore, we just need to adjust the x. And so we bring that, so x is come over 13, so we'll now move it over, maybe it ends up, we hit here at x equals 15 and y equals negative 15. Okay, and so if you can keep a diagram like this, it's going to help you. Now, if you get going and you're hitting shots and they just aren't making any sense at all, maybe you adjust up and over, maybe you adjust over 2 to y equals 15, and then all of a sudden you hit down here, or all of a sudden you hit up here, and you move it a little bit, and all of a sudden you're hitting all around and it doesn't make any sense. What you'll want to do is just take a minute and shoot a 3-shot group, and make sure that, because your goal would be you'd shoot a 3-shot group and they would all be really close. What happens sometimes is, if we haven't shot the gun before, maybe the gun doesn't like that ammo, maybe the scope mount is loose, whatever it may be. And so maybe you shoot 3 shots and you find, man, my gun is shooting at like a 6-inch group here. Okay, and hey, it's not that the adjustments on the thermal aren't working correctly, it's that the gun is not shooting this ammo very well. And so that's another thing to check out. Anyways, if you guys don't do this, I'd encourage it, especially if you're newer to shooting. Just take a piece of paper out and just draw a little diagram and keep track of your X and your Y. And at a minimum, when you get it right where it should be hitting, message yourself that X and Y so that you know what it is. Let me know if this helped you at all. This is kind of a quick and dirty video. And if you'd like you feel like I missed something, let me know, and I can take some time and make a longer, nicer video out of this. Hope it helps. Have a great day. Bye.